What's going on, everyone? So, the last few weeks, there's been a lot of talk about the Lakers blowing up that 2020 roster that won the NBA championship. And a lot of that has been led by Dwight Howard, right? Dwight Howard's been doing podcasts and all that stuff and just kind of really talked about, a couple weeks ago, it was like him and you had like DeMarcus Cousins and stuff, and they kind of broke that down and then kind of reiterated that sentiment in a recent interview. And even Phil Handy has came out and said the same thing. Like Rob Pelinka should have never broken up that roster. But a couple things that keep getting lost in translation and lost in context by the people that keep bringing it up. And again, it's primarily Dwight Howard. Like, Dwight Howard is primarily the guy talking about it. Also, DeMarcus Cousins talked about it. But here's the thing about DeMarcus Cousins. Like, he couldn't stay healthy. The guy didn't even play for the Lakers. It's all this talk about like the people that are driving the narrative are the people that like either didn't play or ended up were gone and were replaced, right? Like Dwight Howard, for example, right? Like he keeps talking about how like they never should have broken up that 2020 team. They never should have broken up the 2020 team. They didn't, right? Like Rob Pelinka upgraded the roster the next year, and the Lakers probably go back to back if Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt. And on top of Anthony Davis getting hurt, I mean, you had LeBron on one leg. You had Andre Drummond, who ended up getting hurt. You had Dennis Schroeder, who ended up getting COVID, and he was not the same. Like, go look at his pre-COVID numbers and his post-COVID numbers. He was not the same player. He was dealing with all kinds of, like, respiratory problems and all kinds of stuff. It was a mess, right? The Lakers kind of fell apart. Otherwise, they would have went back-to-back, right? Like, outside of, like, Dwight Howard, the Lakers had the same team. Right? You still had Kuz and KCP and Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And then instead of Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, you had Marc Gasol, Montrezl Harrell, who, by the way, was him and Dennis Schroeder were the two sixth men of the year the previous season and were killing it, right? Oh, and you got Andre Drummond. So, like, you didn't have a need for Dwight Howard at that point. Right? Like, you didn't need Dwight Howard. Andre Drummond was still a 2010 guy at that point. Andre Drummond was still, like, he was an all-star level center at that point still, right? Like, he was still looked at as, like, a guy, right? He was looked at as, like, oh, man, he could still be great. And him alongside Anthony Davis, and he averaged a double-double. Like, a lot of people act like Andre Drummond was just trash with the Lakers. He wasn't. He averaged a double-double and basically just got kind of thrusted in, and then everyone got hurt, and he was just kind of trying to figure things out on the fly, and then he got hurt, and it was just a mess, right? Like, so again, like, there's this talk and narrative that, like, the Lakers just immediately blew it up, right? But they didn't. They upgraded the roster. And, like, that season really gets, like, lost in translation, right? Like, everyone just, like, goes and jumps directly to the Russell Westbrook scenario, where if the Lakers win, they probably never go trade for Russell Westbrook. Right, like Anthony Davis getting hurt, like impacted the Lakers tenfold. It impacted the Lakers that season. It impacted the Lakers the following season. It just was the snowball effect. But here's the roster the following after the Lakers win the championship. Here's the roster the following season. Let's just go over it, okay? You had we'll just talk about the key players because you had like Devontae Cook and stuff like that, but none of those guys. You had Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, part of the 2020 team. You had Alex Caruso, part of the 2020 team. You had Quinn Cook, who's part of that 2020 team. You had Anthony Davis, Jared Dudley still, right? You had Taylor Norton-Tucker, Kyle Kuzma, Damian Jones, Wesley Matthews, Alfonso McGee, Ben McLemore, Markieff Morris, who was, again, part of that 2020 team. And then your new additions were Dennis Schroeder. You had Montrezl Harrell. You had Marc Gasol, and you had Andre Drummond. It's the same team. You still, like, you don't have, like, Rondo, and you don't have, like, Dwight and McGee. But outside of that, and you don't have Danny Green. But you have Alex Caruso, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Markieff Morris, Kyle Kuzma, right? LeBron James, Anthony Davis, right? Like, you have basically 7 of your Jared Dudley still, right? You have 7 to 8 of the same players as last season, and you basically turned Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee into Marc Gasol, Andre Drummond, and Montrezl Harrell. Like, you're good. You are. Like, people forget like, it's like the 2021 season, like, never happened. It's like, oh, like, Lakers just went from, like, winning the championship to, like, blowing up the roster. Like, no, if we win the championship and we go back to back, you think that the Lakers are just going to blow that team up? You think that team just falls? Like, no. They're going to push and go again. But because Anthony Davis ends up getting hurt, Dennis Schroeder ends up walking, right? So now it's like, we need somebody else. We need somebody to replace Schroeder and blah, 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 blah. You just had this snowball effect that happened that just led to the Lakers going, okay, well, let's go trade for Russell Westbrook. And they didn't want to pay Alex Caruso, kept THT, where I believe if the Lakers win the championship in 2021, as they should have, right? Again, go look pre-injuries. Lakers were once again the number 1 seed. Lakers with Dennis Schroeder, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis on the court were a plus like 12.5. They were the best trio in the league by a landslide. They had everything. Like even Marc Gasol, like people forget how good Marc Gasol was at times, right? Like it just, the Lakers were very good that season. But then again, LeBron got hurt. Dennis Schroeder got COVID. I think, didn't Kuz get like a little injury? Like literally the entire team just started getting riddled with injuries. And then we got into the playoffs. And then we played the Phoenix Suns. We're up 2-1. They have zero answer for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is playing like he's Wilt Chamberlain out there, just dominating, right? We look like we're about to go up 3-1, and that series is a wrap. And he ends up getting hurt. And that was it. Right? And LeBron was on one leg, right? Because he was hurt that whole time. So he didn't have enough to like keep them afloat. Because if they were able to get through Phoenix, Anthony Davis likely would have been back, right? So if we beat Phoenix, we're in the finals, right? Not directly. We still would go through the next few rounds. But if they're healthy, we walk through. I mean, Phoenix walked through the rest of the West. The Lakers would have walked through the rest of the West too. And then we play the Bucks. The Lakers matched up beautifully against the Bucks. Beautifully. Right? Like, so the Lakers beat Milwaukee, in my opinion, or at least get to the finals. So even, let's say that they don't win. That means they went from 1 year winning the finals to the next year being back to the finals. You don't think that you think the Lakers are going to go tear that down? No, they're going to keep that intact. But, that one domino, the butterfly effect, the butterfly flaps its wings, and that's essentially what happened, right? And then you get to this point where they go for Russell Westbrook and they have to get all these old guys, and it was just a disaster and it was a mess. But also and look, I understand Rob Pelinka gets the blame because he is the GM, right? He's the guy that's responsible for this stuff. He is the face, so therefore, he gets the blame. But it wasn't Rob's idea to go get Russell Westbrook. It wasn't like he was just like, oh man, you know what I want to do? I'm going to just go blow it up and go get Russell Westbrook. The only reason they went and got Russell Westbrook was because of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Again, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook were hanging out. There was all those talks. People were making jokes like, oh, I wonder if they're going to team up. And then the reports came out that LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook went to Anthony Davis's house, hung out at Anthony Davis's house, and decided they all wanted to team up. And they would do whatever they had to do and make whatever adjustments. And Anthony Davis said he would play the center position, all that stuff, if Russell Westbrook was willing to come. So LeBron James and Anthony Davis go to Jeannie Buss, tell Jeannie Buss this is what we want. They relay it to Rob Pelinka, and then they get the deal done. Rob Pelinka had a deal done with Sacramento. He was working on that. He was trying to get Buddy Hield. Right? There was several moves in which he was trying to get in. He was talks with DeMar DeRozan, this, that, and the other. I mean, even DeMar DeRozan said, I thought I was going there. I thought the deal was done. And then I look and Russell Westbrook's there. And obviously the contract dispute and all that stuff, there were factors that went into it. But if they never go and if Rob Pelinka doesn't get the Russell Westbrook idea, you don't think he's going to keep negotiating? You don't think he's going to keep talking and trying to work on these deals? But no, LeBron James wanted to play more off ball. It's why they got Dennis Schroeder in the first place. Literally, the Lakers keep getting point guards because LeBron James wants to play more off ball. It's why JJ Redick this season has said he wants LeBron to play more off ball. Since the bubble year, which LeBron played point guard and we won, he said, I don't want to be on ball. Like, he can on occasion. And a lot of people take that little like sound clip where LeBron's like, I can play point guard. I can play point guard. As like, oh, look, he is willing to play point guard. No, he was talking about that moment. He was talking about like in a spot, in a position, like, hey, we're scrambling right now to make some play. Like, I can play point guard, right? You're trying to figure out the lineup in the rotate. Like, I can play point guard, right? If you need me to, I will, right? Type thing. It wasn't like, oh, I want to play point guard all season long. I just make me the primary point guard, right? And he's still on ball. Right? So, and that's the big question. Like, is he willing to go off ball this season? Right? Because he keeps talking about how I want to play off ball. I want to play off ball. I want to play off ball. Darvin Ham has talked about, oh, we're going to get LeBron more off ball. JJ Redick now saying, oh, we're going to get LeBron more off ball. But it's one thing to say that. It's another thing to actually do it. All of the Russell Westbrook and the blowing up of the roster stem from LeBron James. Right? Like, again, I love LeBron. Right? I defend LeBron all the time, even to this day. But it was him. He's the one that wanted Russell Westbrook. Right? And people just keep like overlooking that idea. Like even like Phil Handy and all these people aren't like, oh, well, yeah, well, if LeBron and Anthony Davis never wanted Russell Westbrook, they would say, first off, Dwight's mad because they didn't bring him back the next year. Right? He wasn't part of the team that got blown up. They brought him back with Russell Westbrook. Right? So again, like Dwight Howard talking about, oh, they should have never tore down that 2020 roster, right? Like they lost him the next year and replaced him with Marc Gasol, who was just coming off of a championship 2 years prior and was looking like prime Marc Gasol the year before. Went and got Andre Drummond, went and got Montrezl Harrell, who was 6-man guy, right? Like, again, like Dwight Howard complaining about them basically getting rid of him happened like after. And they brought him back after they blew that up. So I don't understand where that comes from. And then DeMarcus Cousins, I was stoked for DeMarcus Cousins on the Lakers, but he didn't even play for us. The guy couldn't stay healthy. Right? Like, so again, like, what is he talking about? Oh yeah, man, they really should have kept us all together. Like, what did you do? Like, seriously, it's not like he was playing for us. Like, he was a huge factor in us winning anything. No, he didn't even play for us. So again, the two guys that are pushing this campaign, Phil Handy, right? Like, again, Phil Handy, okay, like, yeah, he was a huge part of that. But like, how much of this is just like a disgruntled, like, it feels like, when you fire an employee and they start talking bad about you, right? It's like, oh, well, now it's like, he didn't have anything to say about that previously. But now, all of a sudden, because he's mad at the Lakers, which he's been open about, he's frustrated in the Lakers. He wanted an opportunity to be the head coach, and the Lakers didn't want to give him that opportunity. They let him go so he could go try to find that opportunity. So it's not just the Lakers that didn't want to give him the opportunity. It's not a team in the league that wants to give him the opportunity. So again, I don't know what that is. Right? And then again, Phil Handy, if you had these concerns and you had these questions, did you bring it up when the Lakers wanted to trade for Russell Westbrook, where you were like, I don't think that's a good idea? Like, again, like, why are we talking about this now, years after that happened? Again, the Lakers didn't just blow up the 2020 roster after they won. They literally kept literally 8 of the 15 guys were on the same roster. And it was all the key guys. Like, the only ones that were missing that were actually, like, playing were Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, and Rajon Rondo. Avery Bradley, but Avery Bradley wasn't even in the bubble. Right? So he became irrelevant. Literally, we were missing 3 guys that were in the rotation, and we upgraded those guys. The only guy I wish that we would have probably kept was Rondo. But we brought Rondo back and we brought Dwight back, and they were terrible. Right? We ended up getting rid of them again because they were so bad. Like, so again, it's just like I don't understand where this all stems from. It's just odd to me. Like, there's no context. And that's what, like, I think is silly. Right? Like, we gotta, like, if you want to criticize, that's fine. Criticize in context. Right? Rob Pelinka deserves plenty of criticism. Plenty of, like, again, the Lakers organization does. But look, Jeannie Buss makes the final decision. Right? Like, again, Rob Pelinka is the front man, so he gets the blame. But Jeannie Buss is the one that told Rob to do that. Just like Jeannie Buss vetoed the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner trade. What do the Lakers need right now? A center. Rob Pelinka turned Russell Westbrook into Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. And Jeannie said, nah, and vetoed that. Rob Pelinka's had several things that Jeannie Buss has vetoed. Right? So again, like, she has the final say. And this is what I've talked about. Right? Like, people want Rob Pelinka to leave and all that stuff, right? Oh, we need a new GM. What respected GM wants to go to the Lakers to be told how to do their job? Like, you think Bob Myers wants to go to the Lakers and listen to Jeanie basically tell him what he should and shouldn't do and veto every other move he does? No. Rob Pelinka's in the position because he answers to Jeanie. It's that simple. Right? Problems start at the top. Jeanie listens to the Rambis family. Rambis family have no idea what they're doing. So then Jeanie doesn't know what she's doing, which then Rob's trying to turn water into wine, and he keeps getting shot down every opportunity. And, again, Rob Pelinka's had several deals that would have made us better, that Jeanie went, no, don't do that. Stop that, right? Like, we don't want to do that. And, again, LeBron James and Anthony Davis went and hung out and talked to Russell Westbrook. They brought Russell Westbrook to the table. Rob Pelinka didn't go and go, oh, I'm going to go get No one even knew Russell Westbrook was available. Washington didn't even want to trade Russell Westbrook. He was really good for him the year prior. Bradley Beal wanted him to stay. But LeBron James and Anthony Davis talked him into it. They brought the deal to the table to blow it up. Right? But I understand. Rob Pelinka's the front man. He's going to get the blame. And again, I'm not saying that Rob Pelinka's perfect. He definitely deserves some criticism. But again, it's just context matters. And there's just so much conversation without the context. And that's where it drives me a little. I'm like, can we actually talk in detail rather than just blanketly they shouldn't have broke it up. I'm mad that they let me go. And you always got to look at who's saying this information, right? Dwight Howard came back literally the year after, or the year that they did blow it up, right? I don't know. It's just, anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are you somewhere in between? Again, I'm not trying to absolve Rob Pelinka for anything, right? Again, he did the deal, right? Again, I know a lot of people are like, you should have told Jeanie no. Stop. You go to your boss and tell him no when he tells you to do something. See how long you're at your job, right? Again, context matters, right? Things matter. Right? There's a lot of things you can criticize Rob Pelinka for. A lot of things that you can criticize Rob Pelinka for. But the thing he keeps getting criticized for was not in his control. It's not something he planned on. It's not something he wanted to do. LeBron James and Anthony Davis brought that to the table and said, do this. And Jeanie said, okay, and did it. Why? Because that's what Jeanie's done for everybody. It's what the Lakers have always done for their stars. Right? There's a reason everyone calls him late GM, right? Again, it's just, anyway, again, I would feel, let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.